Welcome back to Heal with Grayson. I am your host today, Grayson Khan, and today I want to talk about my own personal journey of self-love. And hopefully my own personal journey will inspire your own journey of self-love and mastering that to your core. So, this morning I had this realization that all of my relationships have literally been a mirror of my own self-love. Now, I know that sounds kind of simple, but if you think about it, think about how deep that is. Just pause for a moment and think about your current relationships right now that you have. Friendships, familial, intimate, and just take note and be like, do I really actually really love myself? If I'm really involved in this relationship with this individual, with the most highest, ultimate dream reality, highest timeline version of me, would I still maintain a relationship with this person? And if the answer is no, then I hate to break it to you, but here we go, truth bomb dropping your way. You really don't deeply love yourself like you think you do to your core. And I know it's so triggering. Allow those triggers to come up because I wish there was somebody to trigger me in that kind of way and hit up all those triggers that were in my subconscious that I wasn't seeing or that I refused to see or that I was denying. And yeah, I had this realization this morning. I'm like, you know what? I've totally mastered loving myself in the most feminine way possible. And I want to branch out and explain a little bit about that. So after coming out of narcissistic abuse and recovering from basically an entire lifetime of being intensely traumatized, amongst other things, I had to learn how to nurture my feminine energy because it was suppressed, it was dormant. I shifted into my masculine energy as a trauma response permanently because one, I lacked a healthy masculine figure in the household, and two, I never learned what healthy masculine energy was. I never experienced that from outside of me, if that makes sense. It's I had to embody that energy and become that energy in order to see that reflected outside of me, okay? And so anyway, I did not know how to take care of myself. I had no idea what a vanity was. I didn't know a lot of things. I had to teach myself. I had to literally organically teach myself very slowly how to nurture myself and nurture my feminine energy. And one of those things was mastering self-care. What does self-care look like for me? Self-care looks very different for everybody, but I'm just going to give you a window into what my soul totally aligns with self-care, which is reading a good book for about 15 minutes in the evening. I freaking love reading so much. It nurtures my mind because it's allowing my consciousness to expand. It's adding more wisdom, knowledge, and perspective to my consciousness, so it's actually making me more smarter, and it's actually teaching me to work smarter, not harder. It's I'm downloading a bunch of other people's wisdom. It's allowing me to take shortcuts in a way, if that makes sense. I don't know how to describe it, but that's how I love books anyway. So, anywho's. I love to wash my face at night. So I have a really nice skincare routine with a really nice skincare line that I have had to work my way up to experimenting with to figure out what worked for my skin, what didn't work for my skin, why my skin was showing me different things. And I actually learned through going to facials, really nice facials, that my gut, so I had excess candida growing in my gut, and that was from excess sugar consumption and also enduring that narcissistic abuse. When your nervous system and your body gets gassed out and it's just constantly traumatized and you're living in survival mode, your skin is going to break out more. You're going to have more exhaustion, extreme fatigue. There's going to be so many physical symptoms and signs that your body's trying to tell you, hey, something's not right here. Hey, I don't feel good. And, I know you're trying to, get haircuts and massages and skincare, but hey, there's something deeper going on here. So what I ended up doing was combining my creative energy healing techniques and performing energy healing on myself, and then also incorporating that experimentation trial of seeing what I love, what helps me feel relaxed, and helps me surrender into my feminine energy. And the biggest things were, one, getting massages with salt stones for 90 minutes. I freaking love those. And getting the nice facials. They literally help me relax and surrender. And I also feel internally good because it's like I feel really good on the outside and then I feel nurtured on the inside. I'm like, ooh, I'm taking care of myself, like internally and physically. And now it's like matching vibrationally and it feels just so fucking good. And yeah, let's see what else. I love cooking for myself. I love making everything from scratch as much as possible. I feel like I've always done that though, like my whole life. Like that's not something that I just started doing. Like I've done that for quite some time now, for years. I've done that, I want to say, even like before TikTok came into existence. So yeah, that's a long time. I'm kind of dating myself. So yeah, and I love making sure that I feel good physically. Like I make sure that I'm hydrated. I make sure that I eat when I'm hungry. I make sure that I sleep well at night. I invested into my bedding and my bedroom. Like how can I optimize my sleep schedule? How can I optimize my hair care routine? And so there was just a lot of time and effort that went into mastering, loving myself in a feminine way. And I finally figured that out. And also developing emotional intelligence was a huge, huge factor as well. Because one, when you grow up in a family system that has emotionally immature parents, you have no idea what your emotions are, what they mean to you, how to navigate your reality in a healthy way. You're just literally existing in the public, in real life, at your job, just in total like wild beast mode and total trauma response mode, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I had to teach myself that. I had to teach myself a lot of things that I was never going to learn from my toxic ass parents. And so, yeah, I would say self-care, that major umbrella, developing emotional intelligence were like the top two biggest things that helped me learn to love myself deeply and truly to the core of my essence in a feminine way. Now, for the masculine way, I have not mastered that yet. I have not mastered it. I'm working on it currently, and hopefully I will master it this year. I'm setting the intention that I will master it this year, planting seeds for myself. So, and then one thing I do want to mention really quick is I'm currently developing an emotional intelligence course, and that is designed for individuals who also went through narcissistic abuse and had narcissistic family members, and you have no idea how to develop any kind of emotional intelligence. You don't know how to navigate your triggers. That is going to be an amazing space for you. So I will post that link in this podcast once I finish that course. I will come back and post it in here. But yeah, that is what I'm currently working on right now. And I feel like that is something like, if I were to die today, what would I wish humanity had? And that is like the biggest thing, okay? Because working in a restaurant job and running into people constantly who are emotionally immature, it's very frustrating. And it's very just like, seriously, why are you still acting this way? How old are you kind of energy, you know? So yeah. Anyways, and I feel like learning to love myself in like the most masculine way, deeply at the core of my essence, is learning how to provide for myself outside of the matrix fully. So where I don't have to clock in and go work a job and go do what society and the system says I have to do in order to quote unquote live like a normal person. No, like I am meant for reaching a massive group of people like on a day-to-day basis. And currently I'm in my self-love journey of figuring out how to do that. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now in my own journey. I'm being super vulnerable with you guys because that is how we generate authentic connections and real connections, is being vulnerable. So if you're not vulnerable, then you're going to have fake relationships your entire life. So good luck with that. Okay. And then I also wanted to mention this perspective, which is using relationships as a reflection of my own self-love. Now, I was reflecting back on previous partnerships that I had, like starting when I was 19 years old. I would say 19 years old is when I had like my first serious relationship, but you know, I like dated this guy, quote unquote, in high school, right? I just laugh so hard looking back at that. But honestly, I feel like it's valid. I feel like it's a valid relationship because really, like, that high school relationship was an immediate reflection of my upbringing and everything that was a direct reflection of how I felt about myself. And I look back and I'm just like, oh my God, I would never, ever date somebody like that in my life. Never. They would never allow them to touch me, talk to me, speak to me, like hell no. And I do the same thing. I reflect back at that other relationship I had when I was 19 with this guy. I dated for quite some time, and I was like, wow, like I had a really traumatic breakup experience. Like it was very traumatizing breaking up with that guy, because I felt like at the time, I felt like he was like the best man and masculine energy that had ever walked into my life. Okay, like this man like provided for me. I mean, it was like 10 out of 10, an amazing experience with him. And at the time, that's how I felt, right? Like I was like, oh, you're the best of the best. But really, like he was just a reflection, again, of my own self-love and what I believed I deserved at the time. And so fast forward to the next relationship that I went into, married this guy for a few years. And at that time, I thought, wow, like this guy understands me. And oh my gosh, he genuinely loves me. He loves me more than the last guy did. Like, what? This is crazy. And anyway, it's just been a constant journey of every time I get to that breakup energy, it's like the less and less I want to emotionally unravel, the less I want to break down and cry, the less I want to, like the less I'm traumatized. And that's because I keep deepening my levels of self-love within me. And it's like I'm learning more and more and more of what I'm actually worth and what I deserve to experience. And it's like the more that I provide for myself, the more that I love myself in a feminine and a masculine way, and the more I keep leveling up, the more I keep raising the bar on myself, it's like the more that these guys come into my existence, and if they just walk away, they're like, okay, this doesn't work. I'm like, okay, bye. Like I literally don't give a fuck. So it's like I've now reached that point because of all the healing I've been doing on myself. And I'm eventually at that, I'm at that point of like, you know what? If you want to walk away, you want to leave my life, bye. Because what trauma response is there to emotionally, unconsciously react on? There isn't one. I'm not unconsciously, emotionally reacting on any more of experiencing this unconscious abandonment that I went through with my dad, or I'm not experiencing this unconscious lack of love that my parents could never give me, right? Like, it's like, I've learned to love myself. I've learned to not abandon myself. I've learned to be here for myself. I've learned to show up for myself. I've learned to be my number one biggest supporter. And so it's like, okay, well, now that I actually am embodying that and feeling that, like at the deepest levels of myself, and some fuckhead comes into my life, I'm like, bye, I don't care. Like, if you can't give me what I'm already giving myself, you're literally a nobody to me. You don't exist. I don't care if you come in or out, like, bye. And it sounds heartless. It sounds like I'm being a bitch, but I'm actually being a high vibrational bitch because, one, I have healthy energetic boundaries with myself and with others. And two, I have created standards. I have created standards when I never had any standards because I didn't know how to have standards. I didn't even know that it was useful to have standards in a relationship, right? Like I literally came from absolutely nothing, guys. Nothing. And if I can come from fucking nothing, you guys can fucking make shit happen for yourself too. All right? So yeah, that's first and foremost. And I feel like that's just such an interesting like realization that I had, which is, like being in the dating world in my late 20s and actually learning to love myself and being in this more healed version of myself. The more that men want to walk out of my life, I'm like, peace out, Girl Scout. Like, there's always going to be another man who comes in that's better and better and better because that's literally how the universe works. And I want to tell you ladies this, the universe will always match you with your other side, okay? It has to reflect you. That's literally what it does. The universe is constantly 24/7 reflecting you. So if your person is not showing up in your external reality yet, trust me, they are out there, and eventually you guys will shift into vibrational alignment. And then you're going to keep doing that with partners throughout the rest of your lifetime. And that was the biggest thing. That was the biggest thing for me because I was like, I'm never going to find anybody else, or they're never going to understand me, or they're never going to cherish my authentic self. And that was just a projection. That was a literal projection of how I felt internally. I felt that way because that is how my parents projected onto me. They projected that no one would ever love my authentic self. And that was because my authentic self in childhood didn't serve their immature needs, right? Like my survival self that I created served their mastery, basically, right? Like it served their toxicity. But here's the thing. Is just as much as there's bad in this universe, there is good. So when you have And when your entire reality and your entire lifetime has been an existence of men who treat you like shit, who physically abuse you, who emotionally abuse you, who mentally abuse you, financially abuse you, spiritually abuse you, guess what? There is an exact opposite of men out there who would love to support you physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, and spiritually. Okay? That is inevitable. That literal group of men, I would say, are going to surpass the shitty men that are already out there, okay? Because let me tell you, it has just been, it has been one crazy whirlwind of a lifetime running into a lot of trash, okay? And, that's just the facts, because I used to be trash myself. So I know what it's like to be the trash, all right? So that's why I can say that. But yeah, like, you have to become the partner that you want to attract and receive, okay? So if you want a full-on provider, well, are you full-on providing for yourself? Are you full-on giving yourself the best life already? Because that's the biggest thing. Like, I always told myself, my dream partner is going to fully provide for me the way I'm fully providing for myself. Physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and vice versa. Like, you're going to be the feminine opposite of him, you know what I mean? And so you're going to provide in a feminine way, he's going to provide in a masculine way. And the thing is, the guys who get triggered by that, who get triggered by those expectations, by those standards, by that energy, that is the universe showing you, hey, ding, 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 these red flags are existing in your subconscious. If that bothers you, it's existing in your energy somewhere, and you need to release it. So you stop attracting those men, and eventually you're going to step into vibrational resonance with those provider type men that you're so desperately wanting to experience, right? Like, those men that just show up into your life and they're like, wow, I just love her so much. I'm ready to do anything for her. I'm ready to provide for her and give her the best of the best, right? And then you're ready to fully provide feminine in the feminine way. But there's a lot of work that comes with that. That's not something that just happens overnight. That is a journey. That is the journey of self-love. And that is, just like I said, that's just not something that happens instantaneously. So, yeah. That is basically how I mastered loving myself in a feminine way, and just my current, masculine self-loving journey. And it's funny because, being single for so many years, like, actually I've been single for, over 2 years, almost 3 years now. And I'm so grateful that I've been single, because I'm like, I just look at these men around me in my current reality and I'm like, ew, I would never ever sleep with you. I would never let you touch me. Like, absolutely fucking not. Like, you cannot access my unique high priestess healing energy. Fuck you. Like, and that's where I'm at, because I have told myself, okay, you know what? Have I reached my dream physical living situation? Yes. I have achieved ultimate freedom with my living situation. Have I achieved ultimate freedom in my work situation? Not yet, but I'm on the way there. Have I achieved financial freedom? Not yet, but I'm on the way there. And it's like, when I master freedom for me, for my soul, when I master freedom in all aspects of my life, that is when I will be ready. And that is when I can honestly and vulnerably and authentically say that I will be ready and mature enough in all aspects of my life to be ready for the most healthiest, highest vibrational, ultimate dream reality relationship. Otherwise, my relationships are just going to constantly reflect what I still need to work on. And my thing is, why would I want to get into a relationship with a guy when I know my unconscious triggers are going to show up? And like, why date somebody? Why put somebody through that pain and that hurt when I can just work on healing myself? You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not downplaying getting into a relationship. You can get into relationships. It's just, why not save yourself the hurt and the pain? You know what I mean? Like, grieve, process that shit on your own, learn how to deal it on your own. And then, when you're ready, you'll learn how to navigate through your triggers on your own. And then when you get into a relationship, then you get to do that with somebody who's mirroring your energy too, or they also know how to navigate their triggers and stuff. So you navigate the triggers, you talk it out, you compromise, you find solutions, and that's how you grow and evolve as a soul and as a couple. And the problem with society right now is we live in a narcissistic society. And so a lot of us are just wailing it and winging it with relationships. No one knows what the fuck they're doing. Everybody thinks, oh, well, I've got all the answers to how to have a successful relationship. And every single person that I have seen say that, I'm like, you know what? There's more growth that can take place there that I can see as a psychic with my super sensitive abilities. I'm just like, actually, from what I know and experience, like, there's actually more that you can receive. There's way more unconditional love, different levels of unconditional love in relationships that you can receive, but a lot of people settle. And I refuse to be one of those people. So, yeah, if you're coming across this podcast, there is a reason for this. This is your sign. Do not settle. Do not settle. Stay celibate for as long as you can. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Because the longer you stay celibate, the more you're going to look back in your journey and be like, oh my God, thank God I did that. Thank God I have not let anybody touch me for this long, because wow, it's actually like expediting my self-worth journey, my self-love journey. And I feel like our ultimate highest vibrational dream reality timeline is when we can fully master and fully embody that deep self-love of both feminine and masculine energies. So anyways, guys, I hope this podcast has expanded your consciousness, shed light on different perspectives that maybe you haven't thought about or have thought about, but maybe I've expanded on it in a different way, in a different light. So yeah, I will see you guys next week for a new eye-opening, consciousness expanding podcast to inspire and educate you so that you can live your best life and achieve genuine happiness. So yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in a week.